If you've ever written a paper, you know the thesis statement is the most important part of the essay. The thesis is the foundation of your essay. Without a strong thesis, the rest of your essay simply falls apart. So what is a thesis? Generally speaking, the thesis is the main idea of your paper. The thesis answers the purpose of your work. When you are writing your thesis, you need to ask yourself, what am I trying to achieve in my paper? Is the purpose to persuade, to entertain, to inform, or to explain? Once you know what you want to achieve, or you know your purpose, you can begin writing your thesis. There are two types of thesis statements, general and specific. A general thesis only provides the main argument. It does not list the points you will discuss in the essay. General thesis statements are most often used in informal writing. They can also be used in long academic papers, say over 10 pages, where listing all the points would be too long and too confusing. A specific thesis provides the general argument in addition to the main points discussed in the paper. Because it has all the main points, a specific thesis acts as a map for the reader to follow. This type of thesis is quite often used in academic papers and is recommended for students who are just learning or practicing to write essays in Canada. Because it is like a mathematical formula, students find a specific thesis keeps their ideas organized and makes writing easier. Both types of thesis statements are valid, and you will choose which to use depending on the assignment's purpose, audience, rhetorical option, and length. If in doubt, ask your instructor for guidance on which thesis will best suit the assignment. So I have my topic. How do I write a thesis statement? To write an effective thesis, please keep a few things in mind. First of all, your thesis should generate interest. When writing a paper, you are trying to attract your reader. You need to provide them a reason to read your paper. Think about what you can offer that is new or different from other papers on the same topic. Secondly, your thesis should not be too complicated. A thesis should get straight to the point. Do not add extra details. Instead, leave details for the body paragraphs of the paper. If your thesis is overcomplicated, the reader will not know what you are trying to tell them. The third point is your thesis should be obvious. By this we mean a reader should be able to identify a thesis quickly. We don't mean obvious as in everyone knows. And finally, your thesis should not contain examples. Examples are used to prove the thesis in the body of the essay. If you add examples in the thesis, you've told the reader pretty much everything they need to know. The question then is, why would they read your paper? It's like a movie trailer. If you feel you've seen the whole movie for free, why would you pay to see the movie? Overall, a thesis identifies your main purpose, provides a guide for readers to follow while reading, and engages the reader's interest. But how do you know you've achieved a strong thesis? First thing is write your thesis as a complete sentence, not as a title or a topic. When you sit down to write a paper, you will start with a topic. To create a thesis, you need to decide what you will say about that topic. Then write your opinion in a full sentence. For example, let's say you are interested in the topic of superhero movies. While you may really like these movies, you don't think children should be watching them. Your reasons are, you think they are too violent, the storylines are too dark and scary for children, and the characters use inappropriate language for kids. So you take this information and you create a complete sentence that includes the general idea or argument and your main reasons. Now you have a thesis. Notice how it is different from a topic or a title. The second point in creating a good thesis is to state your point and do not write your thesis as an intention. When writing a thesis, say exactly what you mean. Your reader should know precisely what they will be reading and what your stance is. Notice the difference between and. Phrases like this paper will and this paper will show and in my opinion are wasted, empty words. They do not have meaning. Your reader is aware that this is your paper. Don't tell them that you're going to do something. Show them exactly what you will discuss. The last and maybe most important point is make your opinion clear in the thesis. In an essay, your reader should know exactly what your opinion is. This means you will need to decide what side you're on or what you want to say before you write the thesis. There is no time to sit on the fence. You need to be clear about what you will say so the reader can follow you. So if we look at our example, superhero movies are not suitable for young audience because they are too violent, have dark storylines, and contain coarse language, as opposed to superhero movies are not suitable. The first thesis provides the specific ideas. The reader knows exactly what issues will be discussed, and it generates interest. In the second example, the reader is left with too many questions. For whom? Why? It's far too general. If your thesis is unclear, this will confuse the reader and they will quickly become uninterested in your topic. If you lose your reader, you've not done your job as a writer. Having a vague thesis also causes trouble for you as a writer. How can you write a proper essay if you don't know what you want to say about the topic? You'll end up just generally writing about everything and saying nothing. It's similar to walking in circles because you don't know your way. In summary, the thesis is the most important part of your essay. A strong thesis will provide a strong foundation on which to build your essay. While you may make revisions to your thesis as you work through all the steps of the writing process, you should try to start your essay with the strongest thesis you can write.